back in one of our favorite places to go hunting this year. We're in northeastern Alberta with Rob Reynolds, Ranchland outfitter. I guess we've hunted about 10 years with Rob every year. Some of the finest hunting you can go in. You know, they have a lot of ducks up there and a lot of geese, and I consider the trick to his success, that he does have great success, is he does a lot of scouting. He does more scouting than any other outfitter that I've hunted with,
Right.
you know. He has a lot of birds in the area, so they got a lot more options in the morning as to where they want to go to. You know, you get there and they ride around, they analyze it, trying to figure out exactly where they want to set up. So they try to get that right as best they can. Then they put out an elaborate spread every morning, so they do it right.
They do. You know, when you go hunting with Rob, one thing that you have to help him with in the morning, because it takes an hour or so to get this spread put out. We put out a lot of decoys. 95% of it is Canada goose decoys, and the ducks hit those just as good as they do regular duck decoys. But we're in dry fields, we're in layout blinds, and when we put that spread out, it works.
Over the years, I've heard Rob tell a lot of hunters that I don't use but 4 duck decoys. He puts out 4 MOJOs and a couple hundred of these full-body goose decoys. Now he's into, you know, using some of the flocker flickers a little bit, you know, because they not only do they attract the ducks, they don't scare the geese, you know.
Right.
So overall, he's in the duck and the goose combination business, you know. But they do it right.
They do. Well, let's see what happens the first morning.
It was fun. We had a big group of Canadas come in, and they kind of all mashed up, and just at the last second they maybe pulled up a little bit, but we got them. It was awesome. Big group. Nothing more fun than just big numbers of birds coming. Right on. Let's do it again.
We had scouted this field the day before, and there was a lot of ducks and geese in there. When we got in there that morning, it seemed like the geese got off the roost at first, and they started coming in big flocks, and we wore them out there for a couple of minutes. And later in the morning is when the ducks started coming in, but we had a heck of a shoot.
This segment was brought to you by Stoger.
We don't shoot 100%, believe it or not. We do miss. And sometimes Nate has got what he calls the top 10 not so good shots. So we're going to show you one. Tell us a little bit about that shot.
Let me start making some excuses right off. You know, down in Louisiana, in Mississippi, where you're from, we don't hunt out of layout blinds.
No.
You know? We don't dry field feed. We usually sitting in some kind of blind or standing up in the bush or something like that. So if you hadn't done it in a year and you go up there the first morning, getting up out of that layout blind, and you know,
Yeah.
it's not easy.
Annette was up there hunting with us, and we kind of keep her in the middle. You know, you're on one side of her, I'm on one side, so she's kind of in the middle. So we said, Annette, this is going to be yours. What do you think about that?
You know, she's a good hunter.
Oh, yeah.
And she's a pretty good shot, you know, and if you just stand out there shooting, you know. But we've done that to quite a few people, and if they're not real experienced hunters, which she's not, you know, and something's coming in and you wait to the last minute and you say, okay, it's all you.
Yeah.
Almost everybody's missed when that's happened.
Oh, I
but
know
she
I
has
have.
this goose with a wingspan this wide land right in front of her and, you know, misses it. How you do that?
I don't know. It could have been 5. I think it was too close because I don't think that goose was over about 5. I bet he saw his life coming to an end. And then when she missed, he said, thank you, thank you, thank you. Off he went. Nobody else even tried.
We're going to be in trouble, Mike.
We are.
Well, it was a great hunt, Mike, with a lot of birds. They didn't work quite as good as I would have liked for them to work, but still, it was a great hunt. There was no shortage of birds for sure.
No, there's a ton of birds up there. We had, you know, we shot geese, we shot a few snows, we shot a lot of Canadas, and then shot up, you know, 99% of the ducks you shoot are gonna be mallards. Every now and then we shoot a pintail. I don't think I shot anything other than pintail or mallards up there. But it was a good hunt. So generally what we do on the end of these hunts, we'll get everything packed up, put it back in the trailer, and head back into town. They've got a really nice place there in town that they own. It used to be a restaurant there, open to the public, and they've closed it down and they use it kind of as the whole family uses it as their corporate office. They have a couple of different businesses they run out of there, but they also run this restaurant out of there that's strictly for the hunters. And they redid it this past year, and I tell you what, it's super nice.
We do 2 meals a day there. You know, after the hunt goes in, we go in, we eat what we call breakfast, but now it's a expanded breakfast, you know, kind of breakfast lunch type thing, more
Right.
than you could ever eat, you know. And then usually you're gonna go out and hunt in the afternoon, you know, like you're usually gonna kill more ducks than geese or more geese than ducks, and so it's gonna leave something on your limit
Right.
of one or the other, if not both. So we go out and do an afternoon hunt, and you don't get back in there until after dark, usually on one of them kind of hunts, and then they have the spread.
The coup de grace is there that night.
This is duck that was shot today, and we're putting it in salt and pepper and flour, and then we're going to fry it. And we don't want to overdo it. So this is a sauteed onion with cranberries. And you saute the onion in butter and just put a little bit of cranberry, dried cranberry, and it softens up really nice and blends well with the duck. And the red wine's going to reduce down and meld with the flavors of the cranberry and the duck.
What is that?
I was like, something's grabbing me. It's like a lobster.
We try to get these cameramen to do right. And Jared and I were up, y'all were out, I think y'all were out predator hunting that afternoon. So Jared and I were gonna go over and do a little around the new restaurant and the upgrades and the renovation they'd make. So he was flying the drone out around the back of it. Well, I'm standing there just kind of making sure he's doing everything right and checking everything out. Just take a look what he does to the drone.
There goes another $1,000. You know, we're noted for supposedly having a good film crew. And that's because we don't show you everything.
That's it. You know, Nate tried to kill me. You see, I'm backing up, and here comes Nate in for the kill. Bam! Almost death by drone.
Mike, I don't know if I'd be too critical or not. I remember when we first got in the drone business, we was on an early blue-winged teal hunt down on the Duty Fair farm, you know. And it was pretty windy when we got through, and you had the itches to get this drone out and fly it. And Nate and Jared too, I think, was trying to tell you it was too windy to fly. Oh no, it didn't fly. So here's the very first drone that we've ever owned. And what happened was that Mike flew it.
I don't remember me flying that.
Mike flew it. I got witnesses against the thing, and we looked, and he crashed it in the water. And we looked and we looked and we looked. We never found it. The next spring, I'm driving along there on my four-wheeler, kind of checking to see what we need to do for preparing our duck field. And I see something that don't look right. And I stop and back up, and I come dig this thing out. And when I told Nate, he said, "Well, how about that waterproof GoPro that's on the bottom of it?" And I said, "Well, I didn't go see
It'll write
that,
it
you
off
know."
by then, so we lose GoPro footage, drone, batteries.
I went back and looked for it, but I never could find the hole that came out of it again.
Well, the good thing about it, Jared's done it, Nate's done it, and I've done it.
These things were pretty expensive back on the first one, you know.
You're not lying. You're not lying. And all of them. Well, Nate's and Jared's were usable. I guess I was the only one that just completely tore one to pieces.
Maybe you ought to lighten up on the boys.
I heard that.
Well, this is our last morning here in Alberta, the grand finale as they call it. We came to a place quite a distance from where any place we've been hunting, but the scout's been watching these ducks, he said, for 2 or 3 weeks. Nobody's messed with them, so I don't know. We got a nice setup here today, and nobody's messed with these ducks, and not in this field anyway. They might have messed with them some other field, but still the moon is full up there, so maybe they fed all night, who knows, you know. So other problem we've had has been, in this heat spell, has been no wind. You don't hardly ever encounter that out in the big wide open prairie. The wind's almost always blowing, but it hadn't blown hardly when we've been here. We've been here at daylight when it's been like 1 mile an hour. When you don't have any wind, them ducks do not have to get in a pattern. It makes it harder for them to land, and they just fly around until they finally see what they don't like, and then they leave. But not having a wind, one of the hardest things to do duck hunting. I live in Louisiana. We hardly ever have a wind at daylight, but it's a struggle for us, you know. So, but we're optimistic this morning. If you're not an optimistic person, maybe you probably shouldn't take up hunting, and especially waterfowl hunting. But we got a new deal going this morning, and we're optimistic, so let's jump in the blind and see what happens.
Kill him there.
about as fast as you can get right there. Can't get your gun loaded.
Well, they're coming fast and furious. Doing a pickup here. Seeing what we got. Loving it.
I think we got to work it this morning. What we've been waiting on. Finally got a little wind, and they now want to work.
Well, that is action packed.
Good shoot.
Nice, guys.
Man, the little thing's working in, or they working in? Come on.
Brought to you by the team who forever changed the way you hunt. MOJO Outdoors.
Man, we had a great shoot this morning at Ranchland Outfitters with Rob Reynolds. Set up, spotters saw a bunch of ducks over here on the water late yesterday afternoon. Set our spread up this morning right on the, I don't know, we're probably 300 yards from it. They were coming to that water, saw these mojos, peeled them off, and it was death. It all happened pretty quick. We had an excellent shoot. Loved it.
I hate to leave Alberta. It's one of our most favorite places to go to, but you know, all good things end, and this hunt just ended. So we got to pack up and go home. If you'd like to go on a great waterfowl hunt, ducks and geese, some of the finest food you'll ever eat, you know, you need to go with Rob Reynolds, Ranchland Outfitters. We're going to put his information on the screen, but the best way to get to him is just go to MOJOOutdoors.com. Go to the TV section, scroll down to the Outfitter section, click on it. He'll be listed there alphabetically. It'll give you a number, to give you a link right to him. You ought to call Rob. He'd like to hear from you. But that's all the time we got for today. For all of us at MOJO, I'm Terry Denman. God bless you. We'll see you again next week.
All hunts seen on MOJO TV are fair chase.